So you're thinking about moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, and just wondering, heck, what is it even like to live there? Now, I'm sure you've done all your research. I'm sure you've watched a ton of other videos to kind of get an idea of what it's like. But in today's video, we're going to rip that band-aid off. We're going to tell you the truth of what it's like living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, hey, you could be moving for several different reasons. You could be moving because you got a new job. Could be moving because your job is actually relocating, or maybe you're like myself, you said, heck, I need a change, I need to get somewhere where I actually want to be. But first and foremost, you need to understand what it's all like. The beautiful thing about this video today is I am not from here, I was not born here, so I'm able to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to keep everything 100% authentic. In today's video, we're going to have I have a list of a few things here that we're going to discuss. So with that being said, let's get after it. What's up, everyone? Ronnie here. If you're ever curious about learning a little bit more about Raleigh, North Carolina, this is the place you're going to want to be. You know, we're going to talk about the pros and cons today, but we talk everything about Raleigh base. And we're going to talk about, of course, the good, the bad, the ugly. And the best part about this all is you can learn it from the comfort of your home, your couch, wherever you like to watch your YouTube videos. This is the best part about that, right? We get calls and texts about individuals looking to relocate to the Raleigh, North Carolina area all the time. And we enjoy those phone calls because we get to tell everybody what it's truly indeed like to live here, right? We get these calls, texts, even emails, whether it's day or night, and even on the weekends. You know, we get these calls all the time, and we're looking forward to yours. You know, the best way for us to share this information is if you're liking the video and you're subscribing, because again, you'll be notified whenever we upload a video or anything of that nature. And just know one thing, I got your back in this market. So whatever question that you have, I'm your guy. So what we'll do is work through this list that I have. Instead of going back and forth between each individual, I'm just going to talk about the entire list through my perspective and judgments, of course. So if you do have a different perspective or different judgment, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to have those discussions and kind of break things out. And if there even is a place that you want to get into detail with, you want me to look in depth with, then please drop it in the comments below and I'll make sure to go check that out for you. I will say though, this one thing, I did save the best for last. I had to. And you're going to want to stick around for this, especially if you're thinking or even considering and moving to the Raleigh, North Carolina area. Now, the number one thing on this list today is Raleigh, North Carolina overcrowded? I will say, in my personal opinion, no. I've seen crowded cities like New York City before, and that was pretty crowded in my opinion. But I would say Raleigh, North Carolina, no. And the reason why I say this is because the way that Raleigh in itself is structured. It's structured in a way where there's obviously the major city being Raleigh. Then you have a lot of sub-cities surrounding it. And I think that allows for a lot of separation amongst, you know, where you live and kind of where you want to work, play, and eat. Also, to add on to that, Raleigh's population is currently sitting at about 500,000, and there is already estimates that it will double in the next 2 decades. So we're kind of in the beginning phases of it all, I personally think. But nonetheless, I mean, in the past 2 years, I mean, you guys all been seeing it. I'm sure I'm not the only one in terms of how many people have been relocating to different areas. And I think that's just going to continue on with especially the flexibility that a lot of people have today. And I've been thankful enough to be able to help a lot of people relocate to this area. And now we have pretty much a processes and system in place to make sure that we get everybody where they need to be, when they need to be, in the timeline that they have. So this process and the system that I've been implementing and taking care of has definitely been helpful and beneficial to those that I have already served. I'm looking to serve you as well. So now we have number 2 on the list of what it's like to live in Raleigh. And I think me personally, this is a big con to me. I personally don't like to experience this, but hey, you gotta live with what you get, right? And this number 2 is, you know, the development, the construction that's going on in this city. I mean, it's a good thing because obviously it's showing that the city is kind of keeping up and, you know, wanting to keep up with what's going to come, which is kind of what I mentioned, you know, the population growth doubling. and also wanting to kind of make sure that the city is up to date with, you know, technology and the things that's going on today and age. But man, oh man, does it cause a backup in traffic. Now, I won't dive too much into traffic because I will talk about it a little later, but I will say that the development is a big headache at the moment, and I'm sure this is not going to be the case forever, as they are just making sure that they have all the tools necessary for individuals like yourself who's thinking about moving here. Here we go, on to number 3. If you're wondering about the weather, you might have heard North Carolina offers all 4 seasons, which is very much so true. I mean, let's get straight into it. I mean, that was one of the big reasons why I decided to leave Northeast, is because, man, it is way too damn cold for me. I cannot personally do it. I needed somewhere where I can have at least temperatures that I can tolerate and deal with. And that's one of the big things. So I would personally say, coming from Northeast, coming from cold, this is a place where it does offer all 4 seasons. The winters is not bad at all. If you're used to Northeast, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine, trust me. You'll maybe experience 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That's probably at least the lowest that you may see it. Of course, anything is set to happen, but that's at least what I've experienced, what I've seen. There's snow sometimes, but when there is snow, this is the beautiful part. Everything gets shut down, and I mean everything gets shut down. Maybe it's even an inch. I will say I share a personal experience. There was one time it snowed, and by the afternoon the snow was gone because the sun came down and cleared it all up. So that's just giving you perspective in terms of what the winters look like. Then of course you have the summers, which summers it does get quite humid. I think this is the big change and adjustment that I had to make and learn from, is for the weather and the humidity that is here. But it's not that bad, you know. Just go in your car or turn the AC on. Just make sure you don't put the windows down, or stay at home under the AC all day, and you'll just be fine. And then of course you have the fall and the spring, which I think those are probably by far the best times to enjoy everything North Carolina has to offer, in which of course we'll talk about a little bit more. Let's continue to get the ball rolling. Number 4, we have affordability. Now, I don't know if this is going to be personal, so you may see it as a pro or con depending on where you're coming from, depending on what you do, and just what your lifestyle is currently like. However, I will say that affordability here has changed in the past couple of years. As things have, you know, decided to uproot everyone, and everyone now having a decision on where they can live and how flexible everybody is able to be. But honestly, coming from the Northeast, I will say it's not as expensive as many people think. It could be actually more beneficial to those in certain areas. I do realize that a lot of clients are coming from those bigger areas and have found a 500K home being a good size for them and location in respect to school districts, their commute to work, even if they're not going into the office anymore, has been great for them. And of course, you can't forget about the luxury homes and the 800 to 900K homes, in which people have been getting into brand new construction homes with high ceiling, appliances, custom touch, with their open concepts to their liking. So yes, from a bird's eye view, looking from the top down, it may look kind of hectic for some individuals. However, it's not the case for everyone. I mean, that's just in real estate, and you know, just kind of looking on the spectrum of everything that's going on. It's all in all, I think it's a subtle place to be where everyone is looking out for everybody else, not only your finances but your enjoyment here as well. Now we have number 5 is Raleigh, North Carolina, a dog-friendly city. You bet it is. I mean, we have dog parks everywhere, you name it. If you want to just take your dog out for a walk, or you want to drive somewhere, and hey, maybe you even want to take your dog out to eat with you, there's places that allow you to bring your dog and you can kind of eat with everyone else, as long as your dog isn't, you know, a dog that doesn't like people, and the type of dog that, you know, is going to cause everyone chaos or even draw attention towards you. Number 6, you may not think there's a con to this one, but the outdoors and nature, there is a major pro, but there's also a big con, depending on the type of person you are. Now, of course, first let me talk about the pro because we're gonna get that taken care of first. But yes, North Carolina offers a ton of places to just go out and go freely enjoy the nature. I mean, there's trees everywhere. There's places to go hike, and hey, even if you want to take it a step further, you know, you have the mountains about 2-3 hours away, which hey, you can go and hang out there. Or maybe you're a beach person, you like the water, you want to put your foot in the sand. You can go travel out to the Outer Banks, which is about again another 2-3 hours, depending on specifically where you are located in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. However, I will say if you're anybody like myself, and when the spring comes around and you start to sneeze and you have allergies, yes, the pollen here is chaotic. I've never seen pollen like this before until moving to North Carolina, in which, I mean, I can see it. And it's scary to even talk about because, you know, when you see it and you know when you're touching certain things and then you wipe your face, it's, you know, it's game over. You're gonna sneeze like there's no tomorrow. However, if you have it under control, that's great for you. My best way to prepare for something like this, and of course I am not a doctor, anything of that nature, I just consume the local honey here to try to adapt to, you know, the pollen here. But I will say, I mean, you're gonna be driving and you're gonna see cars the cars are gonna be black, look green, and that's just full of pollen. It's gross, I will say. I'm sorry to gross you out, but I have to mention that the outdoor nature does have a major pro of it. But if you have allergies and you're like myself, that's probably one of the times you want to step back and let the pollen do its thing. And then once that's clear, because it's not for the entire spring season, I will say it's just the beginning season, and then it kind of washes itself away, in which then you can enjoy the rest of the spring going into the summer. Lucky number 7, how is living in downtown Raleigh, or what is even Raleigh downtowns look like? Or is there a pro, or is there even a con to it? I think it's a con if you're not the person that you're not a type of person that likes or needs a lot of noise, fast pace, because there is a lot downtown. So this is what drags, and this is where a lot of people are hanging out, whether it's going to restaurants, shops, bars, I mean, museums, you name it. Like, a lot of things are downtown. So if you're a person that needs kind of like a little bit of peace and quiet, and it's difficult for you to operate when there's a lot going on around you, the downtown Raleigh may not be for you. But if you're a person that is of that nature and that does not bother you, you'll be just fine. I mean, there's a lot to do, whether it's during the day, whether it's during the night. I mean, there's a ton of things you can do downtown. I've never lived in an area that, you know, had a downtown area. So I will say this is actually fulfilling to be in the downtown area and actually just check it out. Sometimes maybe you don't want to do anything, you just want to go hang out at a park, and you have the ability to do so as well. So there's a ton of things that you can do just being in the downtown area. You definitely have to check it out. Now, I told you I would get to it, and we're going to talk about the traffic today. So with traffic, of course, you have your main interstate, I-40. I mean, it's bonkers. I mean, don't even bother. I mean, especially during rush hour or even going into the office, it's not the place you want to be, especially if you're like me, you have very little patience, you don't like traffic. Yeah, you're not going to want to be there. So then you're probably thinking, well then, hey, I could take the back roads. Yeah, you can. However, a lot of people have the same idea as you as well. So you may experience a little bit of traffic over there as well. And that's why I think the beautiful thing about, you know, Raleigh, North Carolina at the moment is they're developing what is called 540 Interstate, and it's going to be a toll interstate, not very, very inexpensive. So it's actually going to be one that surrounds all of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is beautiful because this now allows for a little bit of more separation and allow for the commute time to be easier, whether you're coming from, you know, maybe even the north of Raleigh and you need to get to the south of Raleigh pretty quickly. And I think that's going to be a really big beneficial to the traffic in itself. But you know, during those rush hours, I think it's like any other big city or any city that does have a lot of people coming in. You're going to have those traffics. And I mean, honestly, don't let a wreck happen. I mean, if that's the case, it is game over. You're going to be pretty much standstill because everything is, again, still developing. Everything is still in the works of being processed. So everything kind of gets backed up and slows down dramatically. Not to scare you, though, because, of course, wrecks do happen every day, but you may not have to drive through it. I mean, there's traffic everywhere, though. It's something I don't think many people can avoid. It's just, you know, how bad is it? I think it's tolerable up to a certain extent. for myself. Number 9, we're gonna start talking about the good stuff. Now, if you're a big beer drinker or you like foodies, you're gonna love this place because this place is full of it. I mean, you name it, food halls, breweries all over the place. I mean, restaurants, all types of different actually restaurants everywhere too. I mean, you got anything that you really need, you're gonna find it. And the best part about it is people are constantly flowing into this area, bringing in different type of cultures. So you're always going to have some sort of different food. It may not be right at this moment of what you're looking for, but it's definitely going to come. For instance, I had a buddy of mine. He didn't make me try it, but I definitely wanted to try it. But I tried duck before. It was definitely something. It was definitely an experience. But this is just kind of showing you the type of foods that are around in the area that enables you to kind of try and just be a foodie and try different things and see what you like, see what you don't like. And last but not least, what we all waited for. And this is what you're gonna get to the good stuff where you might be thinking like, you know, where is the pro and where is really the con? I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't think there's really a big massive con to this area. I think it's mainly pros, especially it all depends on what your lifestyle is like, what you love and what you don't like doing. But this is nothing but pros here. You gotta come out here, and whenever you do come here, you have to experience the full 9 of everything North Carolina has to offer. I mean, North Carolina really makes an effort to make sure that there's always something for you to do. So there's no such thing as I've already tried X, Y, and Z. You're gonna always be able and have the ability to try something else because now you're just expanding to another area. Maybe you've tried everything in Raleigh, North Carolina, but did you try anything in the sub-cities of North Carolina? Did you try anything in other parts of North Carolina? Raleigh is pretty big in itself, but North Carolina is a massive state as well. So there's definitely opportunities for you to truly indeed enjoy everything to what's to come and what's to offer in this state. And this is what Raleigh is. We don't want you getting stuck in traffic or getting stuck with something or even a place that you don't even want to be. We want to be able to help you. And the only way for us to help you is if you reach out like those other families we have helped that reached out to me and just seek for whether it's guidance, whether it's just more information on the Raleigh market or just Raleigh in itself. You got to reach out. You got to give me a call, a text, maybe even in an email, day or night, weekends, whatever you need. I got your back in this market.